Alright guys, Melissa here. Thanks for joining me on my pro-life channel. I will be talking about more pro-life stuff that I want to get into. Adoption especially. I was talking to someone yesterday about adoption. Not me adopting, but their story of adoption. Amazing resources. One resource I loved with, well, you know what? I'm getting into that. I don't want to get into that right now. But I'll be talking about that. So anyways, use your resources, ladies. Use everything you have, which is what I'm doing. I'm staying with friends. Doesn't cost me a thing. Just stay with friends. Not a thing. So, this wasn't even planned. I just came to New Hampshire and I'm like, I'm going to wing it. I don't know how, but I'm going to wing it. So I had a job at the Tilton Diner in Tilton, New Hampshire, and they tried to screw me around. So I called the labor department yesterday and said, do I have a claim to this? You know, do I have a right to sue them for this? And he said, yeah, you do. He said, you can, two things I can do. Either you can do the Whistleblower Act, where I said, you know, this woman stole my tips. I would like my tip money. I can do that, where they fired me for retaliation. And it was over the phone. I had already, you know, I was already being promoted as server. I already was being promoted with the training. So, you know, they tried to say, oh, it's not just a good fit. Bull. They were mad because I called them out, and then I went on the side of the road and I did a protest. So they were upset about that. So they said, you know, it's just not a good fit. And I'm like, well, I'll be getting my attorney and I'll be, you know, calling the labor board on you. And they're like, HR is like, yeah, okay. And they said, but you know what? We can fire you over anything. And I'm like, I'm going to unroll my window. And I'm like, yeah, legally any business can fire you over anything, but you can't, you know, unlawfully fire me. That's the difference. So that's what they did. And so I definitely have a case. And I'm like, he's like, you know, if you want your job back, you can do that. And I'm like, can I do both? Can I sue them while I'm working for them? He's like, you can do both. So the very fact that they irritated the crap out of me with what they did and tried to put me under the bus, I'm asking for my job back. So I've got to fill out forms right now to do that. I just got my permit to stay on my feet with work. And I've got a case, so I'm filling out the paperwork. It's going to be a civil lawsuit. You know, this guy certainly can afford a lawsuit. He has many places all around, everywhere, Epsom, everywhere. So, guys, you know, I've proven myself over and over. I'm a good worker, and somebody just tries to screw around with you because they don't care. They honestly don't care. Make something of it. Make something of it. And then I had already managed a restaurant for a short time in Colorado. I started managing another restaurant. This woman gave me crap yesterday. The boss, she gave me crap over at a 24-hour diner. I mean, it's been ongoing for 2 weeks now of my training. She's been giving me crap. How are you doing? Fine. How are you doing with this? Good. What do you think of this? I'm fine. And then she was like, well, like on the third day, you better pick up the pace. I'm like, you just gave me the food menu. So once I get this under my belt, I will, you know, be able to pick up my pace. So the other night, I had 2 of them coming at me, harassing me, honestly. Hurry up and get this. Hurry up and get that. We were hit hard. We were slammed. I've been on the nights myself. So they came in to help. I mean, we were slammed. Anybody, even, you know, experienced waitresses there, couldn't keep up. Did you say hi to them? Did you get the door? Did you do this? Did you do that? Total setup. So I told my friend, watch this. I'm going to get a message today that, you know, they're going to say something about last night. Sure enough, read it a mile away, get a message. You know, we don't want you on nights. How about the days? Technically, that's firing because the agreement was at night. Let me know. I'm like, I'm sorry you feel this way. I'm sorry you feel this way, because she made up a bunch of stuff. I said, most of what you just sent me, your book that you sent me, is a bunch of bull, a bunch of lies, a bunch of made up stuff. And so she offered me, I said, look, you can basically go screw yourself in so many words. And she's like, I offered you day work. That wasn't an offer, guys. That was her trying to take me off what we already agreed with. So I said, you got a reputation. And she does. She has a bad reputation over there. She's not management material. So when I called them yesterday, I'm like, look, I got a double-edged sword here. I got two things going on. And she tends to discriminate against a couple people, So she tends to do this. She tends to do that. This is what she did. And so they're like, yep, put in for that too. So that's what I'm doing. Make sure you stand up for yourself, guys. Because some people don't care. They don't care. I came all the way from Colorado to New Hampshire with the agreement pretty much on this job. I pretty much knew I had it. And then I picked up the Tilton Diner. And, that she basically just screwed me over, And so luckily I have another job. I always have like 5-6 jobs in line in case something happens, which something always does. I have another job. I have 2 other jobs I'm thinking of just so I can stay on my feet. And guys, if I did not already have a job lined up and already knew and saw her a mile away, I could have been without any income at all. Emergency food stamps is if you don't have income. So I went to the state. They had already qualified me as long as I got everything in. She signed a paper, my employment verification, like 2 days ago. And so I will get food stamps, but emergency is if you don't have income. So I put in for emergency. I also went down to the housing place. There's housing for people, believe it or not. I don't know why. I just saw in a newspaper this woman saying she lives in her car, blah, blah, blah. Nobody helps her. It was in the Concord Monitor. Blah, blah, blah. You use the resources and they'll help you. City of Concord will give you your first month's rent free and a month free if they see you can afford things with your job. I'm making sure this woman isn't hitting me. She's up on the curb. They will give you help. So, I don't know what the problem is, honestly. Yes, there is a long wait for Section 8, but they also have particular help with housing if you need it. So I also need to get an application in for that. But use your resources, ladies. Use them all. Use every single job that you can, keep investing in yourself. So when people screw you, you are still okay. So that's kind of my message for today. Just always be plugging at it. I have a permit and it's a different skill set. I'm always making sure I invest in myself. Okay, thanks for joining me, guys.